and a warm welcome, everybody. So welcome to this practice. While we had the perfect day for the theme of the class yesterday, today we kind of have to really imagine there's warmth and there's sunshine. Maybe where you are, it's a little bit different. So fingers crossed you can actually experience that. Today I've only prepared the usual blanket for comfort and one block. If you have two blocks, that might be useful, but it's for one posture. We never know if we ever get to it. So this class today, I would like to start lying down on the front of the body. So pretending it's warm in here, I will remove my coat. And then come to lie down on the front. So when you lie down on your front, take it easy, land your body softly. You might allow to rest the forehead down, but more so, could you spread your elbows out, perhaps even stack your hands, and then rest the forehead onto stacked hands. Legs can be relaxed at this point, but what you might do is take a deeper breath in, and as you sigh the breath out, let your elbows drift a little bit further apart, so you're finding a bit of comfort through the shoulders. Once your upper body is rested, keep it this way, and you might open your legs out really wide. You could then turn the toes to look outward, and perhaps you're even able to rest on the inner sides of your feet. This is a variation of the crocodile or makrasana that is helpful with the idea of remaining grounded or nourishing that idea of safety and stability. If that resonates with you and it feels right in the body as well, you might keep it like this. If you find this is kind of strenuous around the back or the hips, you can bring your legs closer together, touch the big toes, and let the heels roll out to either side. I'm just finding a comfort here. Oftentimes, with the legs closer, heels rolling out, lower back is broadened, and you might find that more comfortable. So choosing your variation for today's practice, and then resting down in comfort. While you might have found your place, and perhaps even noticed whether you are in need of that feeling of stability and groundedness, or whether you want to be more inwardly nurturing. With that, you might start to gently deepen your breathing. As the breath might start in a more gentle form, notice how there's a gentle push down into the mat. That push down into the mat could extend itself as you continue deepening your breathing, of course, within your comfort level. But you might feel then that the breath needs more space. It finds its way perhaps to the sides of the waistline. It might even find its way into the back of your body. So slow, deep breathing, and perhaps even letting it rise from the belly upwards to expand into the ribs all around, and releasing it from the belly as you gently exhale in. Allow yourself to be present with just that. Just the breath moving your body. The breath lightly manipulated by you, controlling it as it flows. Yet no real control of where the breath is expanding you, other than perhaps the pattern that you apply to this breath. This posture to me is one when we feel quite overwhelmed, when things are getting a little bit much, or when we're just simply seeking a little bit of comfort and quiet. To rest like this, we're shutting out the outside world for a little while. Yet you might feel quite grounded and supported, if not even safe in this room. Wherever you have placed your legs, bring them to about hip distance apart and rest on the tops of the feet. Encouraging the tops of the feet into the mat so your legs engage, the knees might lightly rise. Then without using your arms, take a breath in and just lift your head and chest slightly, perhaps looking forward. And for the out breath, releasing the head back down, softening even into the knees. Re-engage your legs and take a breath in and repeat that. You might want to lift a little bit higher if your back muscles allow you to arms still loose and easy. And out breath again to rest the head down. Now keep the head resting down, perhaps forehead is on your hand. And on the next inhale, raising your right leg up straight behind you, pointing out to the toes. Keep the leg engaged. Hold it. And on an out breath, gently release it back down to the mat. Repeat on the left-hand side as you breathe in, raise the left leg, point out to the toes, keep the leg long, extend it backwards actively. Upper body is easy and relaxed. Lowering your leg back down. As you next inhale, lifting the head without your arms and the right leg. On the out breath, lower that back down. On the in breath, lifting your left leg, the head and the chest. And on the out breath, bringing that back down. You might leave your head down again as you breathe in, an option to raise both legs off the floor. Keep reaching backwards, pointing out to your toes. And then relax the legs back down. Last option, lifting on both ends, both legs, keep pointing to the feet, head and chest lifting, arms still easy. And out breath to release both legs and upper body back to the mat. Very last option is to take your arms off the floor together with your upper body. So leaving your head resting on your hands. When you breathe in, you might lift your arms, head, legs, and out breath to soften that back down. The very last round is your choice. Full blast, a little, your choice, lifting up. And again, releasing down on the out breath. Have a little gentle wiggle, perhaps through the pelvis, your legs. Then slide the hands underneath your shoulders. And on the inhalation, coming up onto your hands and knees. You might stand here for a moment. Knees about hip distance apart, hands about shoulder distance apart. And begin with your slinky cat movement. So any movement from or forward that kind of feels right to you at this point. You might even choose to close your eyes and really dive within and feel how this is making you feel, what movement is it that your body needs right now. Taking a breath in as you find your full. With the out breath now round your spine and aim with your buttocks towards the heels for a child's pose. The child's pose could be soft. You might have your arms on the ground. It might be a full child's pose with the arms by the sides and the head resting down. And if you're observing me currently, I'm swaying, I'm trying to ease myself into this form. We've just been bending backwards, so take it easy to come to a forward bend. allowing yourself, perhaps in your choice and variation of child's pose, and knees could be wide or closed as well, to take these deeper breaths again. They're likely being lost after the back bending. So expand back into your belly, expand back into the rib cage, and release again from the belly to the rib cage. Allowing yourselves to breathe. And you might now feel the breath again finding a different way to move. Each breath flowing in and out of the nostrils. You could begin to visualize that there's the sun shining upon your back body, allowing you almost to melt into child's pose. Imagining that warmth spreading from your back into the whole curled up body, comforting and easy. On your next out breath now, begin to uncurl the spine to come towards a seated position. Now you could stay seated just as you are. I will turn myself around so you can see me better. I am sitting towards my heels. You could choose to do the same. There's a block on offer that you could place between your feet to make it more comfortable or reduce the pressure in the knees. But if the seat isn't for you, please sit in any other form that allows you to have your spine upright and tall. We'll stay here for a few breaths. And to begin with, we're taking a deep breath to reach the arms out as we expand our sun, lifting the arms up, and then drawing the hands down to heart center in Anjali Mudra. With the thumbs resting lightly towards the sternum, we're connecting to the heart space, energy of the heart, energy of the lungs, and often expressed in arms. To enhance the intention of bringing in the sun energy, which is also aligned with self-esteem, we will chant 3 rounds of Om, and each Om is directly followed by the sound of Ram, the seed sound of our solar plexus energy. So let's begin. If you're comfortable, please join in, inhaling for the first round. Om. Ra. Om. Ra. Om. Ra. Notice if these chants resonate somewhere within your body or had an impact on you in some shape or form. Relaxing your hands down towards your lap, letting your shoulder blades come a tad bit closer and relax down the sides of the spine. For our breathing practice, I'm encouraging you to move your belly. If there's any issues around your abdomen currently, and that could be digestive issues, that might actually help unless it is the loose kind. Or if you have any hernia sitting there, this might not be for you. If you have any of these conditions or the breathing practice makes you feel like you're nauseous or challenged, please just breathe deeply into your abdomen and slightly contract it when you're exhaling. If you would like to come along, it's the breath out of the nose where you pull the whole belly inwards, like a breath in like this and out like. So this is enough as you breathe in and out to pull it in. Or you could choose, and I will only use one arm, but you will choose both arms if you come along with this. So for the in-breath, your arms will be extended fingers wide spread. On the out-breath, you're pulling the belly in and feet down along the sides of your body. So inhale, exhale. You can begin when you're ready. Arms are purely optional. You can do one, you can do both. Or you could choose to rest your arms down, just practicing the breath. Finding your pace as well. Big extension if you're using the arms. Last one. Relax your arms. Perhaps keep your eyes closed. Take a few breaths just to integrate, to feel potential effects. And one of them could be that your energy is rising, or that you feel slightly more alert, awake. Releasing your hands down towards the mat, or swinging your feet over to the side, depending on how you're seated. Lifting the hips up if you're like me, tucking the toes under, perhaps squeezing a little bit into the toes by leaning back. Then raising your knees off the floor. From the crouched position, come to a soft forward bend. And then on an out breath, starting to uncurl the spine. As we carefully rise to stand, take the shoulders up on the breath in and the shrug down on the breath out. If it is available for you, turn to the long side end of the mat, finding a hip distance stand on one side of the mat. With your feet standing comfortably, toes looking forward, let the inner heels gently activate and draw in towards each other. Standing upright and tall, the shoulder blades are still relaxed, arms are soft. You could come from here into a hand gesture or a mudra, which I will demonstrate now. On both hands, folding your ring finger in towards the palm of the hand, and then touching your thumb on top of that. So it's the ring finger into the palm and the thumb resting over the top. This is Surya Mudra, the mudra of the sun. Your inner heels drawing lightly towards each other. And for each in-breath, lifting your arms out slowly, expanding the sun all the way up above the head, and you might even follow that with your gaze. And when you breathe out, turn the palms outwards and slowly releasing your arms back down and along the sides of the body. Keep inner heels active as you breathe in to lift, and find your own pace now. Movement very simple, just drawing a sun around you while using Surya Mudra if it is for you. Breathe in to lift and extend, and out to reach back down. Repeating that just for 2 more breaths. As you come to the last round, you're inhaling to lift up, stepping your foot out wider and releasing the sun back down as you release your arms. Now your toes could be turned out towards the corners of the mat. You might release the hand gesture, taking a deep breath in to raise the arms back up. Perhaps there's an interlace and a Charlie's Angels Mudra, index finger looking upwards. On the out breath, bend your knees and chop some wood. On the breath in, lifting back up tall. Out breath, chop. Inhale, lift and extend. 3 more to go. Breath out. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale. And one more round, breathing in, lifting up, and exhale, pulling it down. Lifting back up one more time. As you open your hands, Surya Mudra might come back in. And as you breathe out, bend your elbows and your knees for a goddess shape. We're lifting back up on the in-breath. Arms might extend again. Out breath, sitting back into the goddess or Hatha Konasana. Inhaling, extending, and reaching. Exhaling, settle back in. This is the last round. Keep your shoulders soft. Arms active, remaining fingers extended. Find some ease here in the pelvis. So rather than being in a back bend, let the pelvis be easy. You may then choose to raise one heel, lower it down, raise the other heel, and lower it down. As you take a breath in, lifting both arms again, releasing your arms along the sides of the body, turning your right toes towards the short side end of the mat, and taking a step with your back foot out towards the side. So you've got a hip distance stand back on contract. Bending into the front knee and starting to draw your feet inwards, warrior one stand. My hands are still in Surya Mudra. If you like, you can reach your arms out and up. If this is too much for the shoulders, perhaps trying to lift them forward or resting an arm if you need to. So now we're standing in a warrior one, the feet are squeezing in and the arms repeating the sun movement. On our next round, you might like to keep your arms extended. Perhaps the gaze is coming up. The mudras might join in together. If you need to, keep hands lower. Warrior one. Taking an inhale to raise the back heel. Let's lower the arms as we step towards the front side end of the mat. You might give your shoulders a little wiggle and turn yourself around. I will now walk over. I've deliberately changed the way I'm crossing my feet, finding a place at the other side of the mat. Again, let's squeeze the inner heels slightly towards each other, finding a tall standing position. 5 rounds of drawing the sun. On the in-breath beginning, lifting the arms up, perhaps extending the gaze. The palms might turn outwards. As you breathe out, you're welcome to keep the mudra going. Matching the arm movement to the length of your own breath. I will count some rounds, but if you need more or less, that's fine too. Well, I promised to count, that wasn't very successful. I think we've got 2 more. And when the last one arises, we're lifting the arms again in the same way, but then stepping out to the side and releasing the arms, one standing wide. The toes might be turned again towards the corners of the mat. And for the next inhale, could you release the mudra, raise your arms again. Find the odd interlace of your fingers, touching index fingers together, standing upright and tall. 5 wood choppers, breath out. Inhale, lifting up. And keep going. Last one, standing back up. Release the arms. You might find Surya Mudra again. On the out breath, sinking back into the goddess form, bending knees and elbows. On the inhale, reaching back up. On the exhale, settle back into the goddess. One more time only, and then holding your goddess form. Same here. See if you can find your pelvis rather floating. Your option here to raise one heel after the other or both off the floor. Then lowering the heels back down, releasing the legs and arms. Turning your left toes to the short front edge of the mat and stepping with your right foot out to the side to back on front track. Bending your front knee and starting to draw the feet inward. My hands again are still in Surya Mudra, and you might choose to reach the arms back out like you're drawing another sun. And the gaze could lift or stay forward. But to release that, keep your legs strong, feet lightly drawing in towards each other, and let the arms expand some light around you. After your next time lifting the arms, you could choose to hold them up there. You might touch the mudras together, you could keep them separate, or you might rest even arms down, or just one, finding your stance. On the breath in, release the heel from the back. On the breath out, stepping your feet next to each other, returning back into a mountain form. As you breathe in, lifting your arms back up. You might join the palms now as you breathe out, folding forward and down slowly. For the in-breath, lengthening your spine forward. And on the exhale, bringing your hands down and stepping your feet back to kneeling or full plank. For the out breath, keep your elbows side to side and come to land down on your belly. Perhaps the forehead is resting down here as well. We might start with the hands just underneath the shoulders to begin with, grounding through the tops of the feet. And as you take the breath in, bend your right knee and lift your head and chest lightly. On the out breath, release the legs and the upper body. Repeat with the left side, breathing in to bend and lift. And out breath to release it. You might even do that with both of your knees on the next round, lifting through the upper body too, if that feels right. And then releasing both legs down and the forehead and take a couple of breaths. You could now decide to keep going as you were, bending knees from the cobra. If you prefer, you can lengthen your arms along the sides of the body too. In that case, you might bend both of your knees. You could reach back to hold onto your feet or ankles from the outside, keeping your knees at hip distance apart. As I said, not holding on is definitely an option. And as you breathe in, if you're holding on, push your feet into your hands, lifting your upper body, hold in Dhanurasana or bow pose. If you can hold here, please encourage your inner thighs to stay active so your knees are maximum hip distance apart. No matter whether you're holding onto the feet or not, see if there's another lift within you just on that next inhalation. And then relax your legs down, relax your arms back down. You might bring the hands back underneath your shoulders, take an inhale to come back onto all fours. And your out breath might be starting with the slinky cat. Depending on your intensity of the back bend, you might benefit from some movement. And then the same that we did at the beginning, retreating towards the child's pose. Choosing the child's pose that is for you right now. No rules other than that it fits within your being at this point in time. As you come to rest down, and wiggles might still be needed, find time to settle in. encouraging your breath to flow back down into your belly, expanding into your body, and releasing back out from the belly to the ribs. A couple more breaths like this at least, as you explore this restful position after the stronger activity. These back bends are really stimulating the solar plexus energy, which might create not only warmth, but energy in your body. On your next exhalation, start uncurling, ready to come back towards the seat. Bring the hands back down onto the mat, tuck the toes back under, and if it is for you, come into a crouch position with the knees lifting up. Then lower your heels down and slowly uncurl on and outwards, making sure that there's some support from pelvic floor and out. Take a lift of the shoulders and gently shrug them down as you find your stance on the mat again. Now, if you do have a wall nearby, I will take it here with the window frame. Please come next to a wall. I will stand starting with my left side on the wall and will step the left foot forward. If you are freestanding, you can do the same movement, but you might be a bit lighter on the twisty side of things. So with the hip distance stance, both legs are long, encouraging some pressure into the ball of the front foot. And inhale as you keep standing tall, hold that pressure, and as you breathe out, slide the hands down your side until you might be leaning even halfway forward. Keeping your opposite hand on the front side, away from the knee, or to the outside of the leg for support. If you're freestanding, your left hand goes into the waist and you start to roll the left shoulder back. If you're here with me, let's draw that left arm up the wall. Make sure that you're standing on both feet and there's pressure down into the ball of the front foot. You can actually use that wall to push yourself back on towards the feet. But why are we doing this? To open up through the shoulder a bit more, to find that deeper twist in the spine. And yes, you could stand a little bit taller to get there. Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Let's bend both knees. Let the arms slide back down and slowly lift back up towards the stance. If you find comfortable holding onto the wall, take the left hand a little bit lower, bend the front knee and lift the back foot so your knees are now touching. There's an option to reach for the back foot. Same as in the back bend, this is not essential. You could leave the knee bent without holding on. If this feels good, draw the heel towards your buttock and move your hips a bit forward for a quad stretch. If you don't want to use the wall, raise your arm up in front. You might actually choose your mudra in that hand. And you could then lift your knee up behind or bring the foot into your hand as you're opening your chest for Natarashasana or dancer pose. Releasing your arm down, landing your foot down, moving gently as you turn yourself around, especially if you are practicing with a wall or a light. Now stepping your right foot forward with the right side facing the wall, and again find a hip distance trans-track-like stance. Begin to push down into the ball of the front foot while still standing upright and tall. And when you're exhaling, let your hands slide down, keeping your spine long as you reach forward. The ball of the foot is encouraging you to keep that hip lifted. Opposite hand on the side or to the outside of it, while you might be able to crawl your right arm up the wall While I am not able to demonstrate that, I trust that the other example was good enough. And those of you standing free, the hands in the side of the waist, and you might also draw open towards that side. If your hand is up on the wall, use it. Give yourself that momentum, but stay standing strong in both feet so the pelvis is aligned. We're reaching into that slightly deeper twist, perhaps if the wall is of any use. Slowly releasing your arm down, gently rising to stand. And yes, you can do this dance freestanding, but if you enjoy a little helper, let your right hand rest towards the wall, bend your right knee, and then lift the foot up so your knees can touch and the knee bends in the air. Option only to reach for the ankle or the outer side of the foot. Knees will still be together, and if you're holding on, squeeze your foot up to your buttock and the hips a little bit forward. Your option from there is to raise the other arm, perhaps so your mudra in your hand. And for everyone, the lift of the knee or bringing the foot into the hand to raise your chest. Parashasana or Dansa. Slowly releasing back into a standing position, finding a gentle movement perhaps through the shoulders into your body. Before stepping your feet out wide, perhaps facing the long side end of the mat again, outer edges of your feet are now parallel, arms resting by the side. So taking a breath in to lengthen, perhaps lifting the heart, then bending the knees, and in the out breath, let your hands slide down and find a positioning for the hands that is right for you. Oftentimes we can keep them on the outside of the legs, the feet, or we might raise the hands down at the fingertips. As you stand in your forward fold, what we'll have in common is that the feet are grounded, but we're leaning a bit forward towards the toes. And from my observation in classes, when I ask you to raise your shoulders, it's oftentimes that you're almost in a half lift. So when you're bending forward, just lifting the shoulders up and see how energy rises back up into the spine. Sometimes here, when we keep leaning forward and just lifting the shoulders, there's a deeper opening in the hips leaning forward. So you might explore that and take a few breaths here, leaving your shoulders gently lifted into the socket. There's a sense of space around the neck and the ears. Letting your hands land down, soften both knees and bring them down onto the mat. As we come onto the floor, I will just align my blanket as a cushion. I will grab a block. Now, if you have two blocks, have the other one ready. I will, instead of the second block, use a more folded blanket for my head. The block will sit lengthwise on the mat with the short side end facing the buttocks or the back. So I will sit in front of this block. If you need a second one, it's right there where my blanket is. I would ask you to take a hold of the block as you start to lean back and align the block, and I will briefly demonstrate it showing my back right here towards the lower rib, so that the whole block sits in between the shoulder blades. So as you lie back over the block, you might find that dropping the head back is perfectly fine for you. Then do it like this. Or rest the head on a block or a cushion. Let arms come gently out to either side, and by gently I mean leave your elbows a little bit soft. With the softness around your elbows, you might find that the shoulder blades are actually hugging the block in underneath you. If you feel more comfortable, grounded, supported, with knees bent and feet on the floor, please stay here. Otherwise, could you choose to extend your legs out long and relax them onto the floor? Let your body settle into the shape for a few breaths. Version of a fish or Matsyasana. And if you experience any tightness or tension across the back where the block is resting, or upon your shoulders, and there's no other hurt coming in, it's just discomfort or tension, you might choose to keep your elbows even softer. Take a breath in to slide your arms up a little, and then squeezing them back down. So my elbows are bent a fair bit more than before. I'm keeping the elbows soft so that the movements that I'm doing here with my arms is actually rubbing the inner side of the shoulder blades along the sides of the block. You can do so according to your breath as it's flowing. But rather than extending your arms all the way, keep it a little bit softer, doing a little bit less. That doing a little bit less might keep the shoulder blades on the sides of the block and give you that benefit of release through that upper mid-back area. When you find it's enough movement, up to you to decide. Could you rest your arms back down, still keeping elbows soft, and take a few breaths just being in fish pose. From your fish pose, and turn the arms along the sides of your body. Bend your knees if the legs are extended, and if your knees are bent, just let the feet step a little bit further away from you. Sliding your hands underneath your body. And on the outwards, tuck the chin in, and then see if you can sit up using your core muscles. Releasing the block for now, but keeping it along the side of the mat. As you come here, let's roll back down onto the floor. If you do have a wall nearby, you can later on come towards the wall. For right now, just staying on the floor. Both knees bent, both feet might be on the ground. I will now, however, lower the height of my head support and bring the blankets down flatter. Much better alignment for the back of the neck. Raising your right leg up on a breath in and out back your ankle towards your thigh, flexing the foot and gently guiding the hand, guide the right knee out and away from you. This is a reclined figure 4. If it's available, please keep your ankle joints flexed or toes pointing upwards. If you like to stay here, good idea, or you might slide your right hand through between your legs, pick up the back of the left leg and hold on here. Letting your right elbow perhaps encourage that right knee to stay open. And for a light half inversion, could you extend your left leg towards the ceiling? This is optional. You can play here with the bend of the knee and see how that affects the right leg. Funnily enough, it does. If you find a place where you prefer to be still, you might slightly lean a little bit towards your left and hold the stretch in a tighter place in your glutes. Then bending your left knee and landing the left foot onto the ground. Right ankle stays up there. As the foot lands, release your arms along the side of the body. And on the breath in, squeeze your bottom and perhaps your hips coming off the floor for a three-legged bridge. Rolling your spine back down onto the mat. Extending your right leg and stepping the foot back down onto the floor. Left leg lifts on a breath in, out breath ankle to thigh. Again, maintain a flexion in the ankle joint, the toes are pointing up. Your left hand could push the left knee out and away from you. Perfect here to stay. Or sliding your left arm through between your legs, picking up the right leg and taking a hold. And you might again use now the left elbow to open your knee further to keep it open. And perhaps you enjoy playing with the right leg extending towards the ceiling. See how that resonates as a stretch in this figure 4 position. And either keep the leg fully extended, keep it moving, or find your spot. Half inversion, the benefit of some hip opening, good release. Bending the right knee again as you might slowly let go of the foot towards the mat. Leave left ankle up upon your thigh. Let arms release back by the side. Palms might touch the floor. And if it is for you, on the breath in, start to lift your hips up into the air. Back to three-legged bridge, now on the other side. Slowly rolling your spine back down. And inhale to extend the left leg up. And exhale to step the foot down onto the ground. Now, an item I didn't bring, but you might have next to your mat could be a bolster. If you have a bolster to use, you might use that as your support, as they're very often placing it underneath the lower back. If you have a wall behind you, which this is not, but I'll pretend it's a wall, you might have your head leaning towards the wall, but keeping a bit of space. You might also take a bolster underneath if you've got one, or lift your hips up and bring your feet up, and this is not working on that slim frame, bringing your feet up onto the wall. I do have a third option that does not require any props. So if any of these variations did not work for you, and your neck is kind of okay, there's not much pressure on the neck and the shoulders, but if there is pain already, please refrain from this. You could otherwise lift your hips up like we do in the shoulder stance, but instead of going into the shoulder stance, use your hands underneath in the lower back and drop your whole hip weight, the whole weight of your legs into your hands. There's no need to point your fingers in a certain way. Elbows could be wider than usual. You hold onto the pelvis, and with that, can you see I'm now rounded in the lower back, and here I'm dropping the pelvis in. So there's barely any weight in the shoulders or the neck. Everything's loose, and legs are diagonally extended over the body. I have been taught this variation as a supported shoulder stand, and I find that if your arms are okay to hold, this is really nice, relaxing in the shoulders and neck area. So whichever variation of a shoulder stand or a plough pose or something in between you have chosen, if you can, pause with it for a few more breaths. Then gently rolling down. And you can support yourself in any shape or form that you might need. If you were against the wall, you might also roll down or lead your feet to the floor. Let your arms open. Wiggling yourself back onto a mat if you placed yourself elsewhere. Letting the shoulders settle into the ground. Perhaps your arms remain open. And if you need lower back support, just wiggle your feet out to the edges of the mat and then let the knees fall in. If you prefer full Shavasana or have a bolster, lengthen the legs out. Knees might rest over the bolster. Or you could just roll your toes outwards, let your legs relax onto the ground. Finding these last little movements and wiggles that make your comfort even greater. If you need to turn the head a few times, side to side, please do. And if you find our mudra today is useful, you can hold on to it by bringing your ring fingers back into the palm of each hand and resting the thumb lightly over the top to keep it in place. Arms would, of course, stay out on either side as we're extending this energy from the solar plexus. Space above the navel, below the ribs. Bringing in light. Light and warmth. The sense of inner strength. While your body promotes and supports the sense of grounding and safety in this position of relaxation. If you're holding the mudra, your breath might naturally be directed towards the solar plexus, even though the breath might be gentle at this point. If you're not using the mudra, perhaps you would like to direct the breath to the solar plexus area, Manipura chakra. Sense of energy, perhaps even radiance. You might begin to visualize the golden sun right at the center of your being in the solar plexus area, infusing you with fire element quality. You might begin to sense the light and warmth of the sun's golden rays, bathing your whole abdominal area, digestive system. And with that, enhancing the power of transformation. You might even sense your inner sun illuminating all of your digestive organs, supporting them in their optimal function, nourishment of your body and cells with vital energy. Your light might then extend the inner sun to embrace your thoughts and feelings. and allowing you to digest life experiences more easily, while you could release accumulated emotions and memories that drain your energy. With your inner light, your inner sun, illuminating your vision, allowing you to perceive your life's purpose more clearly. You might even spend a moment on visualizing your possibilities, while naturally you receive determination to overcome obstacles along this journey. You might then see the rays of your inner sun grow in intensity, almost like burning away any clouds of doubt, lethargy, perhaps helping to manifest your vision more completely. You could conclude this by mentally repeating after me, awakening my inner sun's radiant energy. I live with abundant vitality. Awakening my inner sun's radiant energy. I live with abundant vitality. Awakening my inner sun's radiant energy. I live with abundant vitality. As you might release, but perhaps keep the intention for the week or the day. Let go of the mudra to rest there in stillness. And perhaps there's a sense of this light coming from your solar plexus, not only shining out into you, but even beyond you. Beginning to deepen your breath gently, and perhaps to focus on that light rise and fall of the solar plexus area together with your breath. These movements might prompt you to move or even stretch. From where you could choose to roll onto your side or come to sit up over the front of the body. As you come to sit, we'll create one more sun around us. So for the inhale, reaching the arms back out and up. And we're drawing the hands as usual in Anjali Mudra, if that is for you, towards the sternum. Have the thumbs rest there. Lifting your heart, and you might feel a light rise here of the solar plexus as well. A gentle bow of the head. As we all stand in our own power, in our own light, we're extending that with a bow towards each other. Namaste.